All right, guys. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I guess St. Patrick's Day is evening. I'm here representing the Czechoslovakian Republic, drinking some delicious Czechvar beer. We're just going to talk about workout 16.4 today. You're going to notice the way the workout's posted. We're going to set up and do the Metcon first, and then there's going to be some core cash outs out after that. Doesn't really warrant much of a description because it's going to be pretty straightforward. That's what I'm trying to get at with that. Okay, so 16.4 is a 13-minute AMRAP. It is 55 deadlifts, 55 wall balls, 55 calorie row, and 55 handstand push-ups, as many rounds as possible in 13 minutes. The RX weights here are 225 for guys, 155 for girls, 20-pound wall ball, 14-pound wall ball, guy, girl, and then we got the row and then handstand push-ups. If you're scaling, I believe I'm going to double check right now. It's 135.95. Here we go, scaled 135.95, and then the men will do a 20-pound ball to a 9-foot target, and a 10-pound, and women do 95-pound deadlifts and 10-foot ball to 9-foot target. All right, we'll get to the scale in a second. First off, the key here on this workout is going to be the biggest thing that you can do at the beginning is make sure that you pace your deadlifts out. If the deadlift is a very strong lift for you, that's awesome. You want to break it up into manageable chunks. I think very few people, if any human on the planet, is going to go 55 unbroken. That's not going to happen. So make sure you have a strategy for it. It's 11 sets of 5. You can do 10, 10, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 to the end, something that's doable. But whatever your weight is, whether it's 135 or 225, make sure that you have a strategy to attack it, and you need to break it up. As always, you need to break it up before you hit failure. Also, for competition purposes, I discourage this a lot in classes and coaching. You're really going to focus on, once you hit the wall, if you need to, a way to keep moving is you deadlift, stand up, lock out, and you can let go of the bar and drop it to the floor. That way you're not doing that lowering eccentric portion of the lift over and over again and getting more tired. So you can deadlift up, let go, drop it, and do another rep. All right, it is a little slower, but it's going to save some energy. That's going to be your first part. Second part, 55 wall balls. So 55 wall balls, if you remember when we've been doing all this wall ball work recently, it's about 2 seconds of wall ball. So right off the hop, you got about 2 minutes of wall balls if you go straight in a row. You might be able to go a little faster than that. Sometimes you can squeeze 30, 32 into a minute, but that's about the kind of volume that you're looking at. So having a strategy to, again, attack this in big chunks is going to be the key. You don't want to do wall balls piecemeal. Wall balls are kind of like kettlebell swings where you don't get rewarded for just doing one at a time. There is a benefit to stringing these things together, unlike those deadlifts that when you get tired, you can just drop them from the top. So for the wall balls, what you're going to want to do is have a strategy. Just like we were doing those 15 unbroken wall balls today, maybe take them in 15s until you get to 30, 45, and then break it up from there. You could do 15, 15, 15, 10, right? You got a lot of options here. But try to make sure that, again, it's nice and paced out. When you get on the row, the strategy here is going to depend on one of two things. One, if you're RX'd and you do not have handstand push-ups and you don't think you're going to do really well on that part of the workout, there is a tie break in this workout. So what that means is, for someone who has the same reps as you, so you get to a thing and you have, I guess a number would be like 200, for example. It's a plausible tie break. The thing that it's going to come down to is your time off the rower. So if handstand push-ups are not your strong suit and you don't think you're going to get back into the second round or get a big chunk of the way into the handstand push-ups, the key here, or zero handstand push-ups, the key here is going to be to go all out on this row. If, however, you are in a position where you do have handstand push-ups and you want to see how many you can get, you need to take some energy into the handstand push-ups. And what I mean by that is you can't get off the rower and be completely exhausted. Because if you do that, you won't be able to catch your breath and you're going to have a really hard time struggling for the last 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 if you're able to minutes of handstand push-ups. So really focus on choosing the strategy that's most favored to your current level. All right. On the flip side, if you are doing the scaled version, the scaling is hand release push-ups. If you're doing hand release push-ups, and most people here are going to be okay at that because the standards are fairly lax in terms of coming up off the ground, you need to take some energy into the handstand push-ups to be able to keep moving. All right, so those are your two options. If you're saving yourself for the last part of the handstand push-up or push-up workout because you know you have those well, you're going to have to make sure you pace that row out nice and steady. If you've been doing a bunch of rowing and all this rowing we've been doing these last couple of weeks, find a pace that lets you sustain and keep moving while accumulating calories. The one caveat about this, unlike normal rowing, is that when you row for calories, there is no continuous movement that's recorded. And what I mean by that is when you're rowing for distance, you pull the rower really hard. As soon as you let go, if you rest for a second at the top, you can notice the meters keep spinning just a little bit. They slow down, but they keep spinning because what it's doing is measuring if this was a boat in the water, you would keep drifting as you stop. But what's going to happen is when you're measuring calories, it only counts how much effort, how many calories you're burning with each pull. So when you rest, nothing's being counted. There is no cumulative motion. So you need to make sure that you keep that in mind, and what's going to be rewarded on the calorie row is the frequency and intensity of your pull. So there's no kind of drifting extra meters that you're getting as you're waiting. There's no motion that kind of keeps happening. You keep accumulating numbers while you're resting. It's literally measuring from when you start pulling to when you stop how much work you've done. So on this kind of row, the strategy is to row hard and fast, as opposed to slow, rest, slow. All right, hard and fast is going to be your key. Again, keeping in mind that hard and fast paced is going to be different than hard and fast. I'm not going to get any handstand push-ups. I got to get this done. All right. Also, what we're going to do, because we don't have any 10-pound wall balls, we're going to work with the 14-pound wall balls to 9 feet, and if we need to scale you, we will scale you to a 12 or an 8. All right, we'll work with your coaches to be able to scale this individual, but 10-pound wall ball is a very strange weight that we don't use very often. So if we do need a weight below 14 and need to scale down, we can do 14 to 8 feet, or we can go lighter with a wall ball as well, just slightly below 8. All right. If you have any questions, let us know. Hopefully, we will see you most of you at Friday Night Lights or in the morning workouts at your respective gyms, and we'll see you there. All right. Have a great and safe rest of your St. Patrick's Day if there's anything. And if you're watching this in the morning, if you're watching this in the morning, I hope you made wise decisions last night, that you're listening to me without a headache. All right. All right, guys. Cheers.